What's up, tea drinkers? Who's ready to spill? Welcome to The Tea with KG, hosted by your girl, Kaylee Grace. Here you'll find your weekly boost of real talk mixed with laughter, healing, and all of those vulnerable, messy moments in between. The Tea with KG is a safe space for you to show up exactly as you are. We are here to share real-life stories from around the globe and be a community of love, joy, and celebrating life. This is a real deal show, so there will be coarse language and sensitive topics discussed. The most beautiful stories oftentimes emerge from the darkest of places, and we're here to explore it all. There's room for everyone at this tea time, so grab your drink of choice, spark it up, or just relax and soak it up. Cheers, and let's spill. What's up, tea drinkers? We are here with the lovely Vanessa McEvoy, Entrepreneur Extraordinaire, serial entrepreneur she goes by. What's up, girl?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Like, it's honestly like my dream to be on your podcast because you and I always just have such amazing, very authentic conversations, and we have been for years. So it's just so nice
Yeah,
to be like on this platform and yeah, both share in a sharing safe space. So kudos for
I'm
you
so
for creating
excited.
this space. Yeah. And
Thank
also,
you.
I just have to note that I have little space buns in my hair. So for anybody that can't see the video, I put little Spice Girl spice buns for
Yeah.
Kaylee.
Channeling.
So I was channeling that Spice Girl energy for you and me. So
We're bringing the girl power. That's what we're doing.
right? Preach, sister, preach
We've
it.
got our Taurus girl power here.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, classic Taurus.
We are classic Taurus. So Vanessa and I have known
Totally.
each other for years and years, and we connected. She had moved away and come back to our hometown, and we really connected then. She was my yoga instructor. She completely helped me heal in so many ways, which we'll dive into as we talk. But yeah, we're gonna start and just if you want to give us a little backstory, who are you? What do you do? Let the people
Oh my
know.
gosh. That's like a whole can of worms. I feel
Oh,
like I
girl, we're
just
here
morph.
for it.
I feel
We
like I
want
just
it.
keep morphing. I feel like I just keep morphing into somebody different, and I think that that's the beautiful thing about this life is, you don't have to be stuck doing the same thing day in, day
Preach.
out. And yeah, it's been such a beautiful transformation even where I'm at now. So I guess just a little about me. Born and raised in Miramichi, I did a Bachelor of Science in Applied Human Nutrition at Mount St. Vincent in Halifax. After that, I moved to the Wild Wild West in Alberta. I lived in Calgary, worked in nutrition there, worked for one of the top weight management clinics in Canada, and I learned so much about client care and being compassionate and really diving deep into somebody's like history and
You
really
helped
making those
me
connections.
with
Yeah,
nutrition. Like, it's amazing.
oh my gosh, it's just that was such a beautiful time in my life as well. And yeah, I got working in oil and gas, and then I lost my job, but not soon. Sorry, right before I lost my job, I had actually gone to Costa Rica on a yoga retreat. So that was about 8 years ago,
Wow.
and I just fell in love with the country, and I knew that I wanted to live in Costa Rica someday, somehow come back, like whatever it took. So yeah, after I had lost my job, I decided I wanted to be a yoga teacher and continue to help people and heal people because I think I needed a lot of healing as well. And
Hmm.
I feel like I was doing it a little selfishly. I can heal myself and heal others at the same time. So I went to India for a month, and then I decided to move back to Miramichi, opened up a small nutrition practice, and then evolved that into a yoga studio. So for 4 years, we were running under the name The Yoga Block, and then most recently brought on two amazing other ladies, Jose and Erica. So we've teamed up and we've rebranded. We're now called Rise Up, and that
That's a
has just
very, very
flourished.
fitting name. I love that.
Like it gives me chills every time I think about it because the energy, the vibe, I miss everybody there. And
I miss that space
yeah,
so much. Like, I think about
yeah.
it even to this day. Like, anyone who does not know Vanessa's yoga studio with like my second home, those lemongrass towels, like, I still think about
Oh
them.
yeah. Don't remind anybody. We haven't been, well, since COVID, we stopped doing it, right? So I was like, I wonder if anybody's gonna notice we haven't had them back
Oh my
Now
god, I would.
I'm doomed. But yeah, so yeah, and then I guess after that, just kind of got into some restaurants, some healthy eating, really finding the niches in our area because we are from such a small area that there wasn't a lot going on for so many years. It was basically like, in the early 2000s when the mill closed, then kind of everything just really slowed down and people weren't
Yeah,
taking those risks into entrepreneurship because there was a huge risk. They just didn't know if there was a cash flow for people or um, disposable income, anything like that. So I think membership has really changed in the last few years, and yeah, so we've opened up a few different restaurants, and we'll be heading back. So I am in Costa Rica right now. We'll be heading back in a few weeks to open back up our donut and milkshake
wow,
shop and our pizza shop. And then aside from that, last year I opened up a spin studio in Bathurst, and then we expanded into Tracadie, which is amazing.
wow.
And then now we are opening next month in St. John. So we
That's
are
so
have team.
amazing.
Yeah, it's just like you know we're just really proud of what we've accomplished, and there's highs and lows to everything, but we just kind of keep steamrolling and if something doesn't work, then we just know that it wasn't meant for us and that there's something
Absolutely.
better for us. And I think it's easy to give up as an entrepreneur. And, oftentimes people get more excited when an entrepreneur fails than succeeds,
So
which,
unfortunate, right? Like,
yeah, it
why?
really,
Ugh,
it really breaks my heart. But yeah, I have a super supportive partner, and him and I rock it together. And
yes.
yeah, and we moved down to Costa Rica in, my gosh, late October. I told you my life is, like,
I can't
crazy.
believe it's been that
Um,
long. I was gonna say, I was like, how long have you been there? I just time flies.
yeah, it's been 5 months, and, yeah, because we are going back home, which is good. I mean, we have a beautiful life in Canada as well, but we've
Yeah.
created a beautiful, beautiful life here as well. So it's kind of
Mm.
reassuring that we are sad to leave, but we know we'll be back, and,
Yes.
our friends will wait for us, they say. So the community that we've
Totally.
built here, they're super supportive of us going home, and we're excited to get home and get back into, I guess, go back to see our family and our friends, and go back to just like living the good old Miramichi
Rocking it.
lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah.
For everyone
So,
listening, just so you
mhm.
guys know, because like everyone knows I moved to Vancouver. I don't even know if I mentioned the actual town we're from. It's Miramichi, New Brunswick, very small town. And when Vanessa is saying like how, when she was diving into these ventures, unsure of what the outcome would be, it's because where we're from, like the stuff Vanessa has brought to our town, I'm going to just hype you up right now because it's true. We did
Thanks.
not have stuff like that. Like she brought like beautiful like it's your transformation. It's so inspiring to me because I just feel like I watched you from when you came home to what you've achieved now, and it's like it all organically came together. Like you started, the nutrition, the yoga, the bar classes, all that fun stuff, and then to the dooryard where it's like beautiful healthy food, and then the pizza place because all us Miramicheers, we like our pizza and our, I say G things but garlic fingers. West
Yes,
Coast
garlic
people, they don't
fingers.
know. They
Yeah,
don't know the magic.
I know when I lived out west, they had, like, wedgies from Pizza 73, and they were kind of like garlic fingers, but we've made garlic fingers for our American friends here in,
Oh,
Costa Rica, and they always
send
kinda
me
do
some.
they do this little finger wave, like, "We love those things you made us," like garlic fingers and donair sauce. Anyway, it's
Oh
pretty
my
funny.
god. It's epic. I
That's
tell
so
my
funny.
boyfriend because he's never had them, and I'm like, "Oh, no, no, just you wait." I was like, "When we go to New
Yeah,
Brunswick, you're gonna go to
you
Dor
have
we're
not
gonna."
lived.
No, we have to try them
Not
all. We have to
lived.
go to Petrillo's, and it's just incredible, and I love that you are doing the like, studios everywhere. Like, it's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, that
Amazing.
for me, it's been so inspiring because we're creating these communities, and for me, I think that's one of my biggest goals now as an entrepreneur is to give people a place to be themselves. And I think I've struggled with that, especially when you
Yeah,
live in a bigger city, sometimes it's hard to kind of fit in. And it's even
totally.
almost harder in a small town because if you don't follow the norms, you almost stand out a little bit more. So
Yep.
yeah, I've just been so proud of the girls because I think right now we have all female teachers, but hopefully that will
The
change
girl
now.
power.
But yeah, and Nick teaches too. But yeah, so it's so beautiful to see these communities blossom and thrive. And I miss them so much, but I've been so
Mm,
blessed to have these people that have supported my journey here in Costa Rica, and the
yes.
studios are thriving, even though I'm not physically there. But we have left them in the most amazing hands, and I'm so proud of them, like both in Tracadie and Bathurst. And we already have the training group for St. John that is going
Oh,
to be like our
so
next
good.
up and coming leaders, and
Yay.
they're so killer already. I'm so, like I've never met any of them in person, but I can tell you, I can read it. If anybody is listening from St. John, like be ready, because your life is going to change because of this group. Like we really believe that the right people come to us. Like we put the feelers out there. We're looking for teachers, and we really believe that the people that are meant to be in our space have seen the message, right? And reach out to us.
Yes.
So
I could not agree with
it's
that more. The
it's
universe
awesome.
delivers.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, yeah, I love that. I love that.
I do too. So what is it like working with your partner? So for, again, Vanessa and her hubby to be, they do everything together. And I'm just curious. I feel like a lot of people would be like, what is that like? I feel like it would be amazing because it's like your best friend, but tell us.
Oh my gosh, it's definitely a roller coaster. I mean, there's good and bad. I think one of the biggest things was like finding what we both enjoyed.
Hmm.
And we've had businesses in the past where um, it wasn't really his scene,
Right.
and when he was there day in and day out in some of these businesses, he wasn't his authentic self, and for me to make him be there or be a part of that business, it wasn't fair.
Hmm.
So we've had to transform in certain ways because of those, not, I wouldn't say like big issues, but yeah, but I mean overall we've really learned to communicate, and
Hmm.
we've had to do work. We've had to work on our relationship in a business. And then now it's kind of funny because we're not so hands-on. We're almost having to build a new relationship, because before, for the last couple of years, all we did was work, especially during COVID. There
Hmm.
was nothing else to do except work. And then, when we got home, we continued to talk about work.
Yes.
But it's kind of
Always work.
kind of neat. Yeah, and it's kind of neat here because now we're like peeling back those layers of the
You're
foundation
gonna
that
make me
our
cry.
relationship
I don't know why. I just got emotional. Like, ooh.
Yeah, well, we're learning so much, and I really feel like we just keep transforming. And um yeah, so it's certainly a ride. But we just like laugh our asses off, pardon my language. But we just always make everything either a competition or a race, or like who can roll more pizza doughs in 10 seconds. Like we're always just like having competitions because we're the most competitive people in the world. And it's fun. It is fun. And the beauty of it is that we're best friends and we're business partners, and he has his own property management company as well. So I've seen him grow his business. Like, he just has that business on his own. And I guess there's not really much for me to do. I help lay floor, like, paint walls and stuff sometimes. But yeah, so as an entrepreneur, getting to watch another entrepreneur succeed, it's beautiful, because I had started the yoga studio a couple years before he really joined and got into this entrepreneurship. But it's scary. It can be so scary, but I always know at the end of the day, we still have each other. So it's like we'll just
Yes.
try anything. We'll go after any goal, and what's the worst thing that could happen, At the end of the day, like
Yeah.
our love is there, our love is real, and we just support each other in every way possible. So it's
That's
I love it.
beautiful.
I do love it. I actually do love that we're like business partners, and
Right?
obviously due to be wed someday.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. You got
Yeah.
that bling, girl. Looking good.
Yes. 3.5 years engaged now. Still no
COVID
wedding.
loves to
I
ruin
know.
plans.
Yeah. So I have my wedding dress here in Costa Rica, actually, because we are like, oh, maybe we'll elope, but we're having so much fun. We didn't even have like 2 seconds
Hmm.
to plan anything. So we're like,
That's
whatever.
amazing. Yeah, I love that because like you said, you two work, work, work like all the time. You'd be going from one business to the other. Like just so busy. So I was so happy when I saw you were, because I mean, since I've known you, you've talked about Costa Rica, and I knew how much it meant to you. So I was
Mm.
so happy to see you guys take the dogs and go to Costa Rica and just have that time. And
Yeah.
hearing how it's transformed your journey in a different way, it's so beautiful. And like you were saying before about we're always evolving, and I'm so on that level with you, like
Mm.
always, peeling it back and seeing what else is there. And
Yeah.
it's making, I think, your relationship so much stronger because it's like, every
Mm.
angle you guys connect and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and if you're not changing, like, you're dying in a way, like, you're losing yourself if you're not staying, like, motivated and going after goals and being open to, like, your future, I guess, and
Hmm.
being open to, like, receiving as well, so,
Yes.
um, yeah, it's a wild journey, and I think what really gave us the push to come here was, um, burnout. We like,
Yes.
my health was on a steady decline. And I think, on social media and other outlets, I guess, I think I only share, the more positive things in my
Yeah.
life. But I started to really struggle, like, physically and mentally. Um, and I had always wanted to come to Costa Rica, and I think that was the final push.
Yep.
Was like, I can't live like this anymore and, like, work like a dog. Like, we just were working like
Yeah.
crazy. And I think now, like, because we talk about it, okay, like, what are our goals now? Like, obviously, we love being entrepreneurs and we love expanding, we love growing these businesses. But I think now when we look at business opportunities, it's not like, okay, like, let's open this crazy business and, like, let's work so hard at it, which we do work hard,
Hmm.
but with balance. We never
Yes.
had balance. And
Hmm.
that like it robs you of time, and all you really have in life, like, I mean, you have is time. Like, that's the
Yep.
gift of life. And if we spent so many years just, like, working so hard that we missed out on a lot. So I think
Yes.
now we're obviously still working really hard, but
Yes.
we're doing it in a more productive way.
Hmm. Work
And we've
smarter, not harder, right?
yeah, we've really evolved the way we run our businesses, and we had to do work to do that too.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
think being here and living in this slower pace of life and healing, I'm feeling so much better. My mind is so clear. I see
Good.
our future, I see our pathway, and I see our goals, and I know that they're attainable because we're going after our goals with a clear mind, a clear heart, and just, like,
Hmm.
trusting trusting,
Yes.
right? So, yeah, I think a lot has changed. Our goals are
Hmm.
the same. Our
Yep.
goals are 100% the same, but we're not thinking, like, we have to open, like, every single business and we have to do this. It's changed for us, and it's such a
Yep.
positive thing.
In a more balanced way. I love that. Um,
Yeah.
you're bringing up burnout, and I have been through burnout, and I don't wish it upon anyone. It's like for me, it was really hard to heal from. Like it took a really long time. And I know everyone's
Mm.
different on their journey. When you were experiencing burnout, how long did it take before you were like, okay, enough, like we're going to go now?
I think I had been dealing with it for, like, a really long time,
Hmm.
just, like, a dull amount of it, and I think it's because I always put a lot of pressure on myself, and I
Yes.
think trying to live up to my own standards,
Girl, we're the
um,
same person.
you know? I'm just, like, unleashing everything. People are like, "Oh my gosh, like, this
No, this
lady."
is what we're
Yeah.
here for.
Uh,
No, safe space.
but yeah, and I think, yeah, I have always put a lot of pressure on myself. I always wanted to be involved in everything. I always wanted to be the best at everything. I always wanted to accomplish everything I could do and anything I could get my hands on. I want to, you know, turn it into gold or whatever it may
Yes.
be. So I think I always had that from a very young age. And I think as you get older and there's more dynamics that play into that, your career and how you look and what you wear and what you drive and the house you live in. And there's just so much pressure, so much
Yeah.
pressure. And now that we live such a simple life, like back home we have 4 cars. Why? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm just gonna say it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And here we don't even have a car. It's like the best thing ever. Like everyone's like complaining about gas prices, and I'm like, can you pump up my tire on my bicycle? Like so
That's
it's
amazing.
yeah, it's so funny. Everything is just like kind of changed, I guess. And I mean, we obviously need a car when we live in Miramichi because we do a lot of traveling for work, but
Yes.
perspective. And I
Mhm.
think changing my perspective about my life has helped me heal from the burnout because
Ugh,
there's no more pressure to be this person who society tells me I have to be. I can just be
I'm
my
getting
authentic
emotional.
self.
Like you're giving me goosebumps. Keep talking, girl. It's amazing.
I feel like people are just yeah, it's just funny because yeah, and it breaks my heart, thinking thinking about my friends that maybe live like that or live with those types of pressures and like my friends that are moms, like I couldn't even imagine the pressure that they're under in because like everybody's posting about their babies and what their babies are doing and the milestones and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I, I'm like mad that I can't, like I feel the pressure that my dog is still jumping when I walk in the
Oh
door.
my
I can't
god.
imagine having a child.
Right? Like
So
when Benson, he cries when he sees other dogs because he's so excited. And I'm like, please stop, like, please stop. Because I
stop,
can
you're
feel the judgment.
yeah, and it's like it's yeah, it's hard. It's hard to live in this society if we don't set our own personal boundaries on like how to create
Preach.
happiness. And
Preach. It's,
happiness shouldn't come from that. And I think that's what was making me so unhealthy and
yeah.
and unhappy. So yeah.
Yay. It's true. Like our society, I mean, I think social media is a really great thing, but I also see
Mm,
the negative side. And it's that comparitis, right? You're scrolling and like you just see all this stuff, and it's hard not to compare sometimes or to,
mm,
feel a certain type of way when you see people who have all these things or they look a certain way, and like, so I totally get that, like that pressure that we feel. And for you to have recognized where your burnout was at and feeling all that pressure and to be like, nope, you're like, I'm hitting the reset button, and for you to do that, that's so brave. And it's so, people need to hear these stories because so many people are probably living in burnout right now or
mhm,
going through something, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just sometimes you have to
yeah,
take the scary step to get
mhm.
there.
And I don't think I'm any less of an entrepreneur because I put myself first. I think I'm a better entrepreneur because I put myself first. If
Ooh,
I take care of
preach.
myself, then I can better take care of the people that are working with us. I can be more
100%.
compassionate. So I think, yeah, like I'm only as like the businesses are only as good as I am mentally and physically. So that's
Hmm.
a really big change. And like I want to preach that to other entrepreneurs. Like I know like how hard it is to take time for yourself when like if you're not working, you're not making money. And
Yes.
for a lot of like, small owned businesses where you're kind of
Hmm.
like the forefront of it. But at the end of the day, like if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And I think we forget
Preach.
to prioritize that sometimes. And I hadn't been prioritizing it. So I think going back to Canada, having reevaluated my life and the energy I'm putting into the businesses, it's like exponential now because I am in such a better space and I know that I can contribute so much more
Yes.
to these spaces and to these communities and to the creative side, which is one of my favorite things about being an entrepreneur
Yes.
is creating. And yeah, we know there's growth coming and we know there's more for us. And yeah, just giving yourself the time to recover and
Hmm.
recognizing the signs of burnout is so important. It's so important.
So important. Like, oh my God, anyone listening, experiencing burnout, listen right now because two living proofs that burnout is it's not a
Yeah,
fun thing. And I feel like
yeah,
it creeps, well, for me, it crept up on me. Like it happened and so fast, I was just like, oh, well, I'm sure it was happening slowly, but I'm like you, I'm like, no, keep going, you got this. And then when it
yeah,
finally was too much, I was like, shit, this is not good.
yeah. And it's funny because in this day and age, like, we define our success sometimes on how busy we are.
Mhm.
Like, if you're not busy, you're not successful.
Yep.
Oh, that was a tough
I know,
lesson. I
right?
couldn't
It's
slow
so
down.
tough.
When I first got here, I could not slow down. And I'm a part of a women's group here and, like, preach to the women that I've met, through this healing circle, and one of the girls was telling this story, how she really, she talked to her mom, she almost had to, um, tell her, like, "Oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that," and because we just expect that you're always having to do, 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 do. That's what we do. It's what that's
Mhm.
our culture, right? And, yeah, it just, like, struck me back, and I'm like, "That's me." I always think I need to be doing, doing, doing,
Mhm.
but that's not always self-care. It's not always the best way to take care of yourself, so it
No.
was, eye-opening for sure, and I'm like, "Oh, that's me. I do that. Can I just be for 2 seconds?" And it's like, practice what you preach, Vanessa. You're a yoga teacher, a meditation teacher, which I'll have
Yeah.
that practice, but us Tauruses, we are just bullheaded. We don't want to stop for nothing or
Mhm.
no one.
No, we do not. And it's funny you say that because I feel the same. I'm like, I'm a yogi. Like and the same, I say to people all the time, I'm like, you have to rest, you have to take time if you don't look after yourself. And then like applying it to yourself is a completely different story. Like you would
Mm.
think where you have the knowledge, it would be easy, but it's not. So everyone out there who knows and they get it, but they're not applying it, it's okay because we're not perfect. None of us are.
Oh my gosh, no. It's a never-ending journey, never ending. But it's a great journey.
Right?
Self-discovery is never ending.
I preach on that. I'm so happy we're having this conversation because I could not agree more. And like, even when I look back at who I was 10 years ago, I'm like, sure, there's parts of my core that are still me. It's like you're not losing yourself, but I'm so much better now. Like I'm so much more grown and I've healed a lot of wounds and like a lot of the way I would move through life wasn't healthy. Like it wasn't helping me, wasn't helping my soul grow, wasn't helping my soul learn whatever it is I'm supposed to learn in this life. But through hardships, that's how I learned. That stubborn head
Mm,
gotta teach me. I have to I try everything and anything until I throw the towel in and then I'm like, okay, lesson learned. Touche.
right.
Universe one.
Yeah. Universe 1, Kaylee 0. Right,
Yeah.
you have a little tally sheet. Friggin' universe.
Legit. Teaching me
It's
lessons whether I like it or
Oh my
not.
gosh, it's so funny. Uh,
Oh my god. It's just wild, the journey of life. When you're talking about the healing circle, I'm curious about that. Tell me more.
Gosh, oh, it's just the best. I just went to it last night, so it's every Monday, and there's an amazing lady here, Lakshmi, that runs it, and we basically just talk about how we're feeling, and we call into the circle, somebody who has really been supportive, a female
Mhm.
constant, in your life, and it's so amazing to speak highly of other women. I love that, and,
I
because
agree.
we don't do that enough, like, you know, social media, and because of, like, we're all trying to live up to these standards, it is sometimes hard to praise other women because it makes you feel, like, less than they are,
Right.
if that makes sense, so,
I know what you mean.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like, well, if I'm saying they're good, am I not good?
Mhm.
But there's usually a group of like 10 or 15 of us, and we all speak in someone's name that is an amazing person and what they're doing, and the same for us. So it's just such mature feminine energy that's kind of going
Mm.
around in a circle, and yeah, I'm gonna miss it so much. But I've learned so much, when you talk to other women, and you're vulnerable and you're open and you're expressive with your feelings and your past, you learn so much. I've learned,
Mhm.
like, the lessons I've learned from that 1 hour a week, um, will stay with me for the rest of my life. It's irreplaceable, this knowledge, and I hold it so near and dear to my heart, you know. yeah, super fortunate for this group of women, and it's like how I made all my friends here.
I
I
love
was
that.
yeah, I
It's
just, I
amazing.
saw it. I was like, "Ooh, this looks like fun." And
Yeah.
I had to get out of my comfort zone. I was like
Mhm.
timid going there. I'm like, "Oh, are they going to judge me?"
Yeah.
Thinking typical way we think, and it's funny because every single person feels the same way when it's their first time coming.
Yes.
And it's like, why do we
Totally.
feel like this? This is such an open, supportive space, and
It's
yeah,
true. I
it's
feel
so
like
funny.
when you did Vanessa, by the way, everyone organized a yoga retreat for us. I still, oh my God, or what year was, I don't remember what year it was, but I kept saying last
2019.
year. Yeah,
I
it
know,
was, I was like,
like
actually,
three
it was
years
like
ago.
3 years ago.
Gosh, it would be like
And
this week or like next week will be like 3 years because it
yes.
was like
Oh my
end
God.
of March
April.
into April. It was like April
Yeah.
1st or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Oh,
Wild.
I found actually, I know in that we did do a circle, but there was actually, was it during quarantine? I can't even remember. You did like a yoga thing online with a few of us, and we shared a
Right.
lot. And I can just, I'm having
Mm.
memories of exactly what you're saying, of feeling so like vulnerable and like raw and open because you're sharing parts of you that I'm just saying, like, I'm sharing parts of me that are not pretty. They're not fun.
Mm.
They're not cute. They're ugly. and,
Yeah.
but they're things that have shaped me so much. And to be open and share those things with people that you don't really know that well. Like, obviously, I know you, but the other ladies in the group, I didn't really know. And
Mm.
terrifying to share. But
Right.
when you do, you realize you're met with love and support and you're not met with judgment. You're not met with like a side
Mm.
eye. Because if anyone in that room did that, they're in the wrong room. Like, go away. Like, you shouldn't be
Exactly.
here.
Yeah, they would never find their way there. And
No,
I believe that the people that are meant to be there, are there for a reason and they're there to support you. And it goes both ways. If someone's
absolutely.
having a really hard week, then we really support that person and
Yeah.
offer them offer them just like an ear,
Hmm.
like just to be able to learn to listen
Yeah.
and be compassionate towards others.
Hmm.
You change the world a little bit.
Oh, I believe that to my core. It's like your little impact. And I really
Mm,
believe that enough little impacts can make big impacts. And like, I know you're going to feel me on this
mm,
one. I think if we continue to put that energy out there, like, yes, I know there's a lot of crazy shit happening in this world, there's a lot of bad energy,
mhm.
but people have to remember, but we have the power to choose what we put out there. And if we put out
Yeah.
the good and the love and the compassion and the understanding and drop the judgment, drop the whatever you
Mhm.
think is cool or uncool. Like, who cares? Like, be yourself and just love people where they're at and
Yeah,
be kind to people. like,
yeah, and that only ever starts from loving yourself. Like, if you don't
preach.
love yourself and if you don't respect yourself, you can't do that for other people. If you're not happy in your own life, if you're not happy, how can you project happiness?
It's so
Um,
true.
yeah. So I think that's a really important lesson too is, okay, like I got to take care of myself because
Hmm.
if I'm not happy, what am I really giving to this universe?
Exactly. And self-care,
Oh.
like people talk about, oh, self-care, and like it's not just a thing people post on social media. Like, it should be a genuine thing that you make like a ritual or something with. Like, when you're doing your self-care, don't be absent-minded about it. Be intentional
Mm.
with your self-care, cuz like, sometimes I could be in the tub, which I do enjoy. That is a form of self-care, but if I'm scrolling on my phone and I'm not really like present, I'm not giving myself what I truly need. So I feel like people need to remember intentional. Be intentional with your care.
Mm. All the
Yes. Oh,
heart emoji.
oh, yeah. Oh my God, it's
Mm,
so good. I still can't believe you're in Costa Rica. I'm just like, I want to be there.
I can't believe it either. It's so funny because I feel like every couple of days we just kind of check in, like, because Nick had never been to Costa Rica before I kidnapped him and
Before
moved
now.
him here. Uh, and I even asked him today, like, I know it wasn't what you were expecting, but like leave that because he's only ever been to like resorts in Mexico and Cuba and stuff. So I
Yeah.
think he thought it was going to be a little more like that. But we really live like a pretty authentic Costa Rican life. Like we have to take a dirt road to get to our house, and
Pura
where
vida,
we live is,
baby.
yeah, it's pretty Americanized, like the condo we live in. But yeah, and I was interested in what he had to say. But he's like, I really like the lifestyle here. I was like, yeah,
That's
me too.
so
Pura
good.
vida.
Because
Yeah.
isn't Nick
And
a
then,
city boy? Is he a city
yeah,
boy?
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. And it's not glitz and glam here. Like we are just drenched in sweat all day because it's like summer season here. And like just it's just so funny, like you just get used to using like public bathrooms that are like very questionable. And like if that was in Canada, like people would lose it. Like the Facebook reviews, and it just kind of makes me giggle, the things that we worry and complain about, and that we it's like don't sweat the small stuff. And I'm like, wow, we are so entitled in Canada, and like we
Ugh.
think that everything has to be the best of the best, and we
Mhm.
just forget that the more we complain and the more that we let things get to us, the more you're going to invite that into your life. But if you can
Yes.
just learn to like let everything flow a little bit more, then things won't bother you, and you'll live a happier life essentially, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have flow for anything to come into your life. Like I was saying, if you're holding on to things too tight or you have too many expectations, you're going to be disappointed. You're not going to have a good time. Like, there's certain
Oh,
things, like, looking back, like, I may have gotten bothered by before, and now I'm just like, meh. I'm like, it could be worse.
mm,
Worse things could
it's so
happen.
true. It is so true. Perspective. It's all about perspective.
Totally.
Oh,
And, like, it's just bringing you extra stress to get mad about mud on your shoe or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 100%.
so
Love
true.
that.
Well, I'm so happy that we've had this conversation today. It's so great to talk to you again. Oh my God, it's
I
been way too
know.
long.
I know. And I'm always just so obsessed with everything you're doing in Vancouver. I love that
Thank you.
city. It's the
Thank you.
best.
Oh my God. Well, you'll
Oh,
have to come visit and we'll go frolic and
I
have fun.
know. Right? Like that is me and you like frolicking around.
Yeah,
Oh
if
my
you need
gosh.
to find us, just look for the girls that are frolicking.
Yeah, they're like, who are those two with angel wings on there? They're
Yeah.
like burning sage.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
mercy.
glitter
It's all good
everywhere.
though, right? Yeah, and little space buns, like
Yeah.
it's
Oh god, I'm having a lot of fun ideas in my head right now.
flight booked.
Okay,
Amazing.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. What are some words of wisdom you could leave them with today?
Ooh, oof, 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 oof. If when it comes to entrepreneurship, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your cause, your business, whatever it is you're trying to create. Go all in. Go all
Mm.
in. If you don't put all of your energy towards it and you don't believe in it fully, then what's the sense? If it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't make sense. And I think
Wow.
that as an entrepreneur, we've dabbled in certain businesses that weren't called for us. They weren't for
Mhm.
us. And we're fortunate to know that. And we never consider it a loss. It's like, okay, we
No.
learn from that. We know what we don't want, but we know what
Mhm.
we want.
Yes.
And it's the
Further
things that we
aligns
believe
you.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think you have to be aligned with what you want in this life.
Oof.
So right off the bat, you have to believe in yourself. Like you go after that goal, and who cares if they're what other people are going to say? Who cares what other people are going to think? They're going to judge you anyway,
Yep.
regardless if you do good or you do bad. They're going to judge you anyway, but that
Yep.
it's a reflection of them and not of you. So you go after
Oof.
your goals and don't let anything stand in your way. Your highest
Yes.
potential is there. Like you go after your highest potential and know that you're worthy of it. And
Y-
it just
Wow.
why do we not think we're worthy sometimes? Because you
I
are
know,
so
girl.
worthy in this life.
Right? You
Yeah.
just gave me all the goosebumps, all the
Mm.
chills. Like, that was beautiful. And
Ah.
it resonates so much with me, and I'm sure countless others, even if they're not entrepreneurs. Like, I'm sure anyone who's trying to go for something, no matter what spectrum of life it's in, can relate to those words. And even me starting this podcast, I was so scared. And like, you want to say, I
Mm.
don't care what people think. But there's a little bit in there that I'm like, yeah, I do. I'll admit it. Like, I'm trying not
Totally.
to, but I was so scared because I was like, oh God. But like you just said, they're going to judge you whether you do good or bad. So just do what you want to do. Just do you,
Yeah.
boo.
And you're gonna have those moments where you're like, where you are like, what am I doing? Like, I'm gonna fail. But you just pick yourself back up from that. Like, we're only human. Of course we have those conversations. Like, what did I get myself into? We're opening another new business. I have these conversations with myself every day. And I'm like, no, Vanessa, no, you wanted this. You know that you're capable of this. Like, I have to bring myself back and talk myself
Mm,
back off like the like, what am I doing
yes.
train. But I find now I can bring myself back a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know,
Practice,
the
right?
Yeah, it's a practice. It is
Hmm.
a practice of, and that is self-care, like being aware of your thoughts and
Yes.
knowing when you can just like shift it and like, okay, I'm not thinking like that. Why am I thinking like that? No more. Let's bring it to the positive,
Preach.
because if I put pour negativity into that cup, like it ain't gonna be any good tea, right? And we're not about
No.
that. So
We don't like the bad tea. It's true, cause
no.
and I will obsess, like, sometimes if I don't stop a thought quick enough, I'll go down the rabbit hole, and then it's so hard to get out of
Mm,
it, so it's so true. Rewiring your brain and stopping that thought process right away.
oh,
I can't let it go I gotta stop it now. I'm like, "Bad tea's over there, we
mhm.
want the good tea right here."
Yeah, full of sparkles, rainbows, all the good
Yeah.
stuff.
So true. Well, those were beautiful
Beautiful.
words of wisdom for all the beautiful tea drinkers listening. Is there anything else you'd like to say for our closing?
Oh gosh. I'm just like so pumped for you, Kaylee. And I um want to thank obviously your listeners. I mean, you are always you are an inspiration,
Thank
and
you.
I've seen you morph and change into this beautiful person. And this you're so, I guess, like there's just an aura about you. You're such a positive light, and you radiate it. It's amazing. And
Oh my God, I'm getting so emotional.
I just can't wait to see where you're going, and I know that you're open to an abundant, happy life, and you go, girl. You
Thank you
freaking
so
go.
much. That means so much to me because I feel
Oh,
so inspired by you. And even like when I booked you, I was like, yes, I was so excited. And I was like, Kaylee, this is what you're supposed to feel. Like when you're doing stuff that means
oh.
something to you, it should feel like this. And having that like
Mhm.
aha moment, it was amazing. And it was just like, yeah, so thank you.
Ah, gonna cry myself to sleep now.
Yeah. In that beautiful Costa Rican weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, girl. Well, thank you so,
Good.
so much for joining us. I will definitely have you on again because you have an abundance
Yeah.
of wisdom and stories. Like, I know we talked about a lot, but guys, like, we didn't even scratch the surface. Like, we have so much more that we could talk about.
There's
So,
more.
there's more. So, yes, if you loved this, subscribe. If you're looking at this on YouTube, hit that like button, all the good things. We're all about the support here, and we appreciate you taking your time to listen to us today. So, that's tea time. Thanks, everybody.